Would he win it?
Anything's possible.
Anything is possible, but you would add so many people.
If the stars align.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So this never-ending debate of whether Nick Walker the Mutant can win the Olympia title ever, that is most probably gonna be settled in this upcoming 2025 season. And if there is anyone, a legend in fact, who believes that this can actually happen, that is none other than Jay Cutler. Because Jay brings up this question time and time again. And this was a question thrown towards Bob Chicarello in the recent episode of Cutler Cast. And you just have to follow the sport just a bit to predict what the answer of Bob would be. And no offense to Nick Walker or his fans out there, but Bob at this point isn't exactly wrong here.
You'd have 4 people would have to.
You don't think 2 years ago? You don't think 2 years ago?
I think 2 years ago he could have
maybe
potentially,
but he's not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Although he has been wrong about Nick Walker in the past when he said that Quinton is gonna beat him last year at the New York Pro, and he just could not have been more wrong about something than that. But the man is making some great points here. Now, if you are a fan of Nick Walker, you just wouldn't agree with Bob's point of view, then I have to ask, paint a picture for us. Draw a scenario in which Nick Walker beats a guy like Samson Dauda, Hadi Choopan, or maybe even Derek Lindstad.
I give credit where it's due. He's got a lot of muscle on that frame. Problem is he's got an H taper, okay? And that ain't going to sit next to these guys. Let me tell you, Martin, I thought, should have beat him in New York because the 3 things that we just mentioned were completely, I don't want to say overlooked, but they should have been given more weight. Like when you see all those things online.
Oh, it was a 1-point score, so it was one.
But here's the problem I got, Jay.
Because the fact is, Nick's fit, that is totally dependent on all these other guys that they have to come in off in order for Nick to move past them, which I know can happen. But what are the chances that all these guys are gonna come in off at the same time, in the same show? Now, I know that is exactly what happened at the Olympia last year. When both Derek and Hadi, they came in off. They failed to bring their A game, and that is why they paid the price. But the fact is, Samson Dauda was at his all-time best. So, all these stars, they have to align perfectly for Nick Walker in order for him to win the Olympia title. And I know, Bob Chicarello will be labeled a hater here after people listen to his blunt answer regarding Nick Walker. But he did speak some facts here. And kinda lucky for us, as bodybuilding fans, we do not have to wait all the way till the Olympia later this year, till October, to find out whether all these young up-and-coming guys, for instance like Martin Fitzwater, they have already outgrown a guy like Nick Walker, or is Nick Walker still in the game? Now Nick has a lot of people to prove wrong this year, and what are your expectations from Nick Walker? Now, me personally, I think Nick Walker is a very smart bodybuilder, and no one should count him out. But winning the Olympia title, that seems kinda out of his reach at this point. And we have to keep in mind, winning that Olympia title, that is a very difficult title to get. Just look at some of the greatest of all times. Some of the legends, like Flex Wheeler, Kevin Levrone, Sean Ray, and the list just goes on and on. People who did not win the Olympia title even once. And it is kinda hard to believe that these guys went through their entire careers without winning a single Miss Olympia title, considering how good these guys were. Guys, Mr. Olympia Signature Series is now live on hostel.com. Use the code FAZI10 to get 10% discount and click the arrow below to check out all the hostel products. Another day, another physique update from Sergio Oliva Jr. Yes, I know many of you guys do not like him, or his updates, or even when I put out them, but still it makes some of the fans excited. That is logged in for this comeback. And I have to talk about him because he's one of those guys who is gonna be competing right after this year's Arnold. And let's be unbiased for a moment. Sergio does look impressive in this update. The quads in particular, they look very good, huge and very separated. And keep in mind, no picture or video does Sergio any justice on how big that guy really is in person. And again, I have got to say this is another career on the line this year. Because if Sergio doesn't nail it this year, if he's unable to qualify for the Olympia again this year too, then this will most probably be the end of the road for him as a comparative pro, as the man is now 40 years old. And there is immense amount of young talent coming into the men's open bodybuilding, and they're improving at such a fast pace. Now Sergio is in that list of guys who are over 300 pounds. So we do wish to see him absolutely bone dry and ripped to shreds on the stage at least once to fully analyze what his true potential is. So the biggest quality that Sergio was missing throughout his career. That was the self-belief. First of all, he never really believed that he can peak 100% right. And the man never really thought that he can beat the top 6 guys in the world. And he was competing at that time of Phil Heath, Sean Roden, Rolly Winkler, and Big Ramy. And 2018 was the first and the only time Sergio qualified for Miss Olympia. And he was unable to place at that show. Now he did stand next to Big Ramy at that show in the initial call-out. But Big Ramy absolutely dwarfed him with his enormous size. In fact, he kinda got sandwiched between Phil Heath and Big Ramy. And there is no other way of saying that. He looked out of place at that show, especially at that time. Now Sergio has grown a lot since that time. And hopefully he is gonna be battle ready this time around for this upcoming FIBA Germany against the likes of James Hollingshead and maybe Carlos Thomas Jr. Guys, Gorilla Wear is offering a massive discount of up to 70% right now. Use the code Fazi10 to get 10% extra discount. Just take a look at that scary dead face of Andrew Jacked. So if there is anyone who can outshine everyone in terms of the structural superiority, the aesthetics, the round muscle bellies, the crazy X-frame, it is none other than the Mona Lisa of bodybuilding, Andrew Jacked. And that Texas Pro version was a scary sight for every top Olympia competitor last year, because Andrew brought up his size game big time last year, and he was also able to close the gaps in his physique to a great extent last year. Now there is 100% guarantee that Andrew most probably will be a lot better at this year's Arnold, simply because he was so far off at the Olympia in October, and he was pretty clear towards the start of this year's Arnold prep that he will no longer be chasing the size game for this prep. Now that Texas Pro look of Andrew, that was as close to perfection as it gets, especially his first 3 shots, the front double biceps, the front lat spread, and the front relaxed, and then add the abs and thigh in there as well. Now it is so exciting to even think about this, that Andrew showing up at his 100%, and you have to believe that the man is gonna be right in the center stage after the first 3 shots, and he can lead the prejudging initially. Now there has been a lot of focus this time on building that back and his hamstring thickness, and who knows, if Andrew actually shows up with more improvements than what we are all expecting from him, he might even win the whole damn thing. Next up, we have a 10 days out physique update from the Conqueror, William Bonac. So who else agree that William Bonac was blessed with one of the most unique looking muscle bellies in the past decade or so? Now I will go as far as saying that in terms of the pure roundness and depth, and the muscle quality and the 3D effect that only a handful of bodybuilders have been able to create, William Bonac is right up there in that list with guys like Phil Heath. Now obviously William wants to be top 5 at this year's Arnold, but the man is at a point in his career where he is cherishing all these moments, because both William Bonac as well as Brandon Curry, they're gonna compete for max 1 or maybe 2 more years, and William Bonac isn't going down without a fight. So that front double biceps that he posted a while back, his symmetry in that update, that was roughly 5 to 6 weeks out, that looked awesome. That looked the best in the last 3 years or so. And William Bonac was probably gonna be absolutely on in terms of condition for this upcoming Arnold as well, the same way he was for the Olympia last year. And he was able to beat some guys he just wasn't supposed to beat, like Rafael Brandao and William Bonac. So a top 5 finish, that is very much realistic for a guy like William Bonac. Next up is the physique update from Rafael Brandao, the best bodybuilder who came out of Brazil, who is now top 8 in the world in the men's open class. Now this could have been a hard placing for Rafael Brandao last year if he brought that same Arnold Classic package to Miss Olympia as well that we saw from him at the Arnold Ohio last year. Now it is kinda too bad. As the year went by, Rafael Brandao did not get better. In fact, he went from standing next to Samson Dauda, making an argument that he should have beat Samson Dauda in a few poses at the Arnold, to a few weeks later almost losing the show to a guy like Tonio Burton at the Arnold Brazil. Now Brandao in his last show of the year, he was able to beat a very good version of Akeem Williams. That was Romania Pro. That was actually very good in terms of the overall condition. But the truth is that he lost so much size in order to bring that sort of condition that Rafael Brandao with that same package, he's gonna have lots of problem at the Olympia later this year because of the lack of enough size and muscularity. Now it is kinda insane that in 2021 we were thinking that if Rafael is able to match those top guys in size and thickness, he has such a beautiful shape that is gonna be unstoppable And it is now 2025 and we are still pointing out that same stuff. So hit the thumbs up button if you like the video and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.